Hello, everyone. It is Dr. Anna Cabeca. I'm the girlfriend doctor. It's my mission and my passion to help women live better lives before, during, and after menopause. So, welcome to the Girlfriend Doctor podcast. It is an intimate place for intimate conversation. And hey, honestly, I am here for you. You can ask me or tell me anything. No shame, no guilt. No apologies. We pull back the curtain on all things related to sexual health, libido, PMS, menopause, you name it, we will talk about it. Our goal is to shine a light on your overall wellness, mind, body, and spirit. So let's get started, shall we? Today, I have a very special guest, Nancy Hala, the brand whisperer and co-host of the Sherry and Nancy podcast. It is my favorite, absolute favorite podcast, and they are just amazing. Hey, Nancy, how are you?
Oh, hey, Anna. I'm great. It's so great to be on your podcast because you've been a guest on our podcast
I,
like
I love
many times. I feel like not enough, of course, because I'd love to talk to you every other week, but you've been a guest on our podcast many times.
I know, and I've loved it too. You guys are amazing. And this is really where the whole girlfriend doctor idea started from. It started from you guys because you started calling me the girlfriend doctor and you guys told
Yeah.
me everything.
Well, no, we did. That was when we stopped recording on our very first conversation. Sherry and I were like, "Wow, she's like talking to your best friend. She's like talking to a girlfriend who's also a doctor." And that's when we started referring to you as the girlfriend doctor because that's who you are to me.
Oh my gosh. And you are the brand whisperer, and that's how you branded me. You have
Yes.
that insight. And in the conversations, and what I love about your podcast too, is that, you dig deep and you're open, honest, authentic. And by doing that, you give permission to others to do the same. And that's really what I'm hoping to do here with the girlfriend doctor, because how many times have we gone into our doctor and be like, I really can't talk to you about this, or I'm not getting the right vibe here. I don't feel like this is the right answer for me, or even just afraid, really afraid to ask the question. And I don't want
Yeah.
that.
No, you don't. I think that's right. I think people feel embarrassed. They feel intimidated sometimes. They don't want to be perfectly forthcoming or honest even with their own physician. I mean, I don't feel particularly close to a lot of the medical professionals in my life, except for you. So I think it's great to create a community like you're doing right now where women can really come together and ask you and also ask each other questions. It's like you're building your own circle.
Yes,
I love
I
it.
I
I
love that.
love
And
it.
starting the conversation. So we start talking about things here. People start talking about it with each other, and also sharing the information in a really authentic way. And I love that. And speaking of which, you're coming from Bellingham, Washington, the
Yes.
epicenter of the coronavirus right now.
I know. I'm scared, Dr. Anna. I'm going to be honest with you. These are scary times, and I pride myself in being a person who does not prone to panic, but I've had a couple of really bad dreams about it, and I'm worried about myself. I'm worried about my kids. Like, I just want to know, like, what do you really think, and what are things that I can honestly do to stay safe? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it really starts with enhancing our major hormone, oxytocin. Honestly, it comes here first, because the reason you care about your kids, the reason you have fear, because there are people you love in your life, right?
Right?
And
Yeah.
when we are fear driven, we're rising up cortisol, which is going to bring down oxytocin. I talk about this a lot in my book, The Hormone Fix, and we've talked about it a lot together. But so this fear is actually going to suppress our immune system even more and create more
Really?
risk because of that whole cortisol oxytocin issue. When cortisol goes up, stress, oxytocin goes down. And then when cortisol is up for a long time, that's when it becomes really critical, because oxytocin and cortisol are both down. And that's when we're feeling that burnout, fatigue, depression, isolation. And we're isolating right now with the coronavirus, this social distancing, right, that we are
Right.
now required to do, and we have to do to be good humans and not spread contagion, and limit the spread. So I get your fear and I take it to heart. And so when I'm thinking about what's the one next right step, it is having healthy conversations. It's letting people that you love know that you love them. Is doing the kind things that increase oxytocin, that show your caring, your kindness, helping a neighbor, playing with your kids, doing things that increase laughter and joy and pleasure, watching funny movies. This is the time to do all that because, I know I've been glued to the internet, to social, and just digging into what all the latest is for the coronavirus. You can't help it. And you can't help that fear.
See, this is what I love about you, though. Where else are you going to get that kind of advice? Everybody's going to tell you to wash your hands, which of course we should all do, social distancing, smart, take precautions. But the fact that your answer is more connectivity on a spirit level, is to keep your energy high, your vibration high, and keep your stress levels low, and then you're going to be less at risk. I mean, that is brilliant and insightful, but also so different than I think what the major medical community would tell you. So I love about you.
Oh, thank you. See, there's oxytocin there. I'm feeling it.
I'm feeling it too.
My immune system's already boosted up a bit.
That's great.
It's also a reminder too that we are going to go in the direction that our light, like if we think our thoughts are a flashlight, that we are lighting up. So this is that time for all your pillars that you guys talk about on the Sherry and Nancy show, your dream pillars. And we're addressing all of those issues, but focusing on the good with positive voice. There's many things that we can be focusing on that's negative, but what are we focusing on that's positive? And focus on those things and start clearing out the noise. Something I learned, Nancy, after my son's accident, after he passed away, was this whole concept of compartmentalization. I think this is going to be really good for those of us as we're in this pandemic. Is when these thoughts start coming up, what could happen? What if, and that fear starts creeping up. It's like, okay, these thoughts, they get 8 o'clock to 8:15. That's it. Tuck them away. I'll think about it then, and maybe that's when you have a discussion with someone, that you love, and you can have this conversation together and keep each other in check and say, okay, this is what we can do, what's in our control to do about this. But compartmentalizing those thoughts as they tend to creep up, especially during this, because we're fear-based right now, unknown, we're unsure, we're uncertain. And that was it, honestly, for me this morning. So I called one of my colleagues, my medical colleague in Italy. This is important. I want you to know this information. His name is Dr. Francesco Morato. And he's a brilliant Italian physician, and he was a founder of a scientific organization called Regenera, very into healthy aging medicine and empowering our body to heal itself. And he said, there's really, the thing about this virus is that it has mutated a couple times, and there's this contagion factor that goes beyond touch. And so understanding that we do have good reason to isolate, to have our schools closed for right now so that we can slow this spread of this virus was really important to me, because I was kind of thinking, is there something else going on? Is there, that unknown, that uncertainty? There's still that, because it's interesting, but we have to know, like, this was my kind of trust factor. Okay, I have to trust that the decisions being made right now are definitely in our best interest. And I heed that. And now I just have to do what is right for me and my family at this time. And I think for me, it was important to know that.
I think that's great. And as much as I love information, sometimes, that tendency to open your eyes and reach for your phone and get on Twitter and see what's trending. And I've been doing that more than ever these last few days, because it feels like every 8 hours, the world changes, like the NBA cancels its entire season. I'm like, what? So it's like, and that just heightens my sense of fear and anxiety, even though the fact that the NBA is canceling the season doesn't really impact me because I don't watch basketball, but I see the gravity of this continue to unfold and expand. And I think that that's right. Like, let's have some faith in each other. And in this moment, let's have some faith in humankind. Like let's see that there's a path is unfolding, and we're going to find the answers, and we're going to do what's best for ourselves and our loved ones, and light a candle for everyone who's already affected by this illness. But onward together, we go together. And if nothing else, I will say, because I'm a silver lining kind of girl, maybe this is going to really teach us once and for all that we really are all connected. on an energetic level. There is no such thing as separation on this planet. We're all connected, you know, and our connectedness is so much more powerful than any division could ever be.
I agree. I think that's a beautiful way to look at it. And I'm also like, well, maybe I can read some more books. It's like, on my bookshelf that I've got to do, right? We've got to knock these off. But being part of this goodness is doing those things that we also, I wish I had more time to do. Like I'm going to check in on my neighbors, my elderly neighbors, and just see what I can do to help them or just help them. And, don't ask, just do. And think those are, that is as rewarding to us as it is to them. And I think that makes a difference. And I've been talking, and we're not going to talk more about the coronavirus on this episode. I've been talking a lot on Instagram, Facebook, social media, in my blogs. I do want to focus on what you so beautifully and wonderfully helped me do and reinvent my brand as the girlfriend doctor.
Yay! The girlfriend doctor, here for all of us, guys. Ask her anything. She is here with us.
That is right. And Nancy, without a doubt, will. And she has. And and then, oh my gosh, what's beautiful is that I say things that I always say, and you're like, oh my gosh, you just have to keep saying that because it's so you. And I think I have to tell you, I was talking about our prime real estate. Now, for people listening, they may think their prime real estate is where they live, or, maybe even who they're living with, but it is clitoris to anus. I mean, we have to keep this area healthy. It is so important. Our sexual health and overall wellness, especially in our pelvic floors, is critically important. And you just laughed. And I was like, what did I say?
Oh my God. The minute you said that, we were having one of our many conversations about your brand and about how you go out into the world and touch so many lives and have these great gatherings where doctors and researchers, standing room only rooms to listen to you speak about sexual health. And you tossed this line off like it was nothing. Our most important real estate is our clitoris to our anus. And I'm like, stop the presses. That is one of the greatest sound advice I've ever heard. And so true. But like when you say it, that's right. Like as we think about our faces and our skin tone and our our toning our arms and staying fit, but your pelvic floor directly impacts the quality of your life, not just your sexual life, your physical life, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It makes a difference. And forever, for the rest of our lives.
Yes.
And that's what we can't let go of. It's, we cannot neglect the pelvic floor, because continence, being able to hold our urine, not leak when we cough and sneeze and laugh, right? We don't want anything to interrupt our physical activity, sexual activity, or our ability to laugh and have fun. And if we're accidentally leaking, that's going to make a difference. And okay, so you're my girlfriend too. So I got to tell you, one of the reasons I really started creating Julva, my anti-aging cream for the vulva, was because here I was about 2 years after having Ava Marie, and I had done a sprint triathlon, and a friend invited me to her P90X class. So I'm wearing my light gray leggings doing her P90X. Well, the P stood for something different, and I was like, wow. That was terrible. I'm like, I know why people wear black leggings. No, it was embarrassing. Right. It was terrible. And I'm like, oh, that shouldn't be happening. I'm going to, I need to do what I'm using for my patients on myself as well. And then, that's important, because it affects our quality of life.
It affects everything. And that Julva is your magical cream. It is the magical cream that has changed my life. And this is why you're the girlfriend doctor, though. This is why this brand makes so much sense for me, and for you. As soon as I started working with you on your brand, I knew it would have to be this, because this is who you are. We like to say that you're the first call for the woman who has questions she would only ask her best girlfriend if her girlfriend were a triple board certified OBGYN like you. So it's like, yes, I can tell you anything. I can ask you anything, because you make me feel like completely unfettered and shame-free, but also you've got the answers, and that makes you different than just my regular girlfriends.
I'm glad to
they think they have the answers, but they don't always have the answers.
We can talk about it, right? And it's good to be able to talk about. That's so funny. And definitely, I love TMI, right? I just love TMI. There's no such thing as too much information. That's the authenticity of it. So really can ask me and tell me anything. And I may even ask for more,
Yes, you will. I
more
remember once.
information.
Well, I remember once when I called you and had a burning question, and burning pun intended, because I was having recurring UTIs after sex, and I just started having sex again after not having sex for a really long time. Listen, transparency. I'm very transparent. So I was in a new relationship, and I was having these terrible UTIs, and I did not know what to do. And I was on like my third round of antibiotics. And I called you and I said, please tell me what I should do about this. And I described the entire situation to you. And I remember, I think that you were at your daughter's soccer game even. And you're like, okay, give me a second. Okay. Okay. Then you put something on mute. Then you came back and said, okay, here's what to do. And it was like, boom, boom, boom. There was Jova, there was the probiotic, there are a few of your products, which I swear by, but there were also things like make sure that you pee after you have sex every single time. And even no matter what, and make sure you drink a lot of water, and make sure you take a lot of vitamin D, which was
And,
interesting, and vitamin C,
see, yep.
which was so interesting. And I was just like, wow, this is what I love. Like, it's not, oh, let me just write you a prescription or come see me in my office. It's like, oh no, here's some real life information.
Yeah. And actually, you said your doctor, you were thinking about daily antibiotic to just prevent it, right? That's often
Yes.
sometimes what is offered is that daily antibiotic, and it's made a difference, huh? I say, you should I should have at least some credit for your engagement.
You do. Yes. That was when I was dating David, and now David and I are engaged to be married. I'm living in our new home in Bellingham. And Dr. Anna, let me tell you, that was in large part due to you, because I might have had to stop having sex with him. Who knows?
Well, and it
I
wouldn't
mean,
be,
honestly,
yep, yep.
I
And
mean,
that's true.
when sex is painful, right? Intimacy suffers. I mean, that's one of your big core messages. It's not just for women. The work that you do doesn't just help women; it helps the men in their lives.
Yep, it absolutely does. And the fact is that you were open to ask that question too. And I think I said to you, we call that honeymoonitis.
I know you did. But that's the great thing about, let me ask you a question, because I know you and I have talked about this a lot. We've had so many meaningful conversations when we started reimagining your brand, dreaming it up, thinking of how you wanted to expand your platform and reach even more women. And so, like, when you think about the brand, the name, the Girlfriend Doctor, why did that immediately sing for you? Like, it immediately hit home. Tell me why.
It really resonated with me because I love the conversation. I feel like in my career of being a physician that my patients became my friends. In fact, some of my patients have been friends now for 20 years, for over 2 decades. And I love that. I love that. And also many of my best friends became my patients, right? So there's that. There's always been, I want to take care of you. I care about you. I care about what happens to you. And, and we can have that relationship. And it's important to have that comfort level. And I wanted patients to feel that way because, way back when I was going to my first gynecology appointment, there wasn't anyone I wanted to talk to.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
No, do you remember my first gynecology appointment? You know who it was? It was a really older, much older man. It was my mother's gynecologist. And I remember the entire experience was so shame-filled for me and weird and uncomfortable. I mean, I'm probably, looking back on it, probably traumatizing in some way. You know what I mean? Because it just didn't feel like there was a conversation at all. It felt like, do this, put your feet here, I'm going to do this exam. And so I feel like it's been too long that women have been sold that bill of goods. Like, our sexual health and our female physicality and our hormone balance, like, those things that's what makes up the quality of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to talk to my girlfriend doctor and
Mm-hmm.
have her really understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Empathy.
it's so true. And our docs right now are so busy and there's so much on their plates. And too, a lot of times, even for my daughters, I have great nurse practitioner friends, like for their first exam, or even some of the, our old school GYNs, like, okay, get your GYN exam taken care of. You're safe, good quality, trusted individual. And then let's talk about these things. Let's have these conversations because we have very little time in the routine current medical system. And also oftentimes it's not you may not be getting the answers that you really need to regain that power over your body. And I think that's one big piece too. You
Yes,
talk about this, and you guys talk about the CEO of your health, right? The CEO of your life. And definitely to take our power back over our own body. And that's where I really feel differentiated, because I want each woman to take the power back. I'm going to give you the information. I'm going to give you solutions. And it's really your choice to do it. And then you own it. And the results are even better than you can imagine.
for sure. Once you take the reins, that's what Sherry and I always say, like, take the reins.
I
You're the
like that.
CEO of your own health. I think that I've heard that from Chris Carr once. You're the CEO of your own health. But, you take the reins, and especially when you're a woman in the middle of life, as I am, if not now, when, we like to say that a lot. And it feels right for me to be empowered about my health. It feels right. It feels correct for me right now. I feel like I am in charge of my life, of my destiny. And so I want to work with medical care providers who who will hear me. I want to feel seen. I want to feel heard, just like in any relationship, right? I want to feel respected. I want to get real information. I want real interaction, meaningful interaction. That's why I love the way you talk about the people in your ecosystem as your community, your beloved community. You just love them so much.
I do.
All your readers and your people who watch your podcast and read your books, your amazing 2 books. And I feel like I love that I feel that in my soul when you talk about your community. I feel that from you. I really do.
Thank you. And I do. I care. I care that they get results. I care that, they're even sharing and asking questions and feel comfortable to ask questions. And that does mean a lot to me. Nancy, you and Sherry in your the pillar life, you have the 7 key pillars. Well, first of all, I need to tell my audience about your amazing cooking. And you have Pillar Life Kitchen. I mean, you're doing
Yes.
amazing cookbook, amazing recipes in there. And oh, wait, I have to tell this story. So I
Yes.
was preparing Valentine's Day dinner. And we actually had a coaching call, business call. And I said, Nancy, I'm trying to make this. What was I making? Pot roast or
Pot roast.
pot roast?
Yeah. Pot roast with veggies. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so I was like, I wasn't really sure how to do it, because I had to cook twice the amount for
Yeah.
the company I had coming over. I was bringing in the girls from the House of Hope. It's an organization that I helped found, which is for victims of human trafficking. So I was having Valentine's dinner with these girls, and I cooked all this pot roast. I'm like, I have no idea how to make this pot roast. And you're like, oh, hold on. I said, can you give me 15 minutes? She goes, better. I'm going to tell you how to make the pot roast.
I know. We walked through it.
Oh,
we walked through it. It was good, right? We walked through it. Yeah, I have a pretty good pot roast recipe right in my back pocket for emergencies at all times.
Exactly.
Well,
and in
I'm
your
glad.
cookbook too, in your Pillar Kitchen cookbook.
Yeah, so the Pillar Life Kitchen Cookbook is all plant-based, right? So it's plant-powered goodness. So it's all vegetarian and vegan recipes, mostly vegan. And so, yeah, because we really believe in eating more plants. I just, as part of your health and wellness pillar, we actually have 8 pillars, and our health and wellness is number 1 for a reason, because if you don't feel really good and vibrant in your own body, then it's hard to make the life of your dreams come true. And so we just believe, and that's why, our messaging and our point of view is so aligned with yours, with your new book, Keto Green 16, which is just a groundbreakingly great book. And I love that green part that you added to the traditional keto approach, which I learned from you is not necessarily very healthy for women over 40, but that green, so more plants and more alkalinity.
Yes. Yeah. It's so crucial, that alkalinity. And it's not just about what we eat, it's about how we live too. So I know I wanted to share with my community that the Hormone Fix, this is a necessity for everyone to read. And I'll tell you some stories. And Keto Green 16 is coming out May 5. And it is for everyone listening to read and then to share this information and just use it in your life. You will feel different. And that's one of the things that came about because I discovered this for me. And then I brought I would say my 8 most difficult patients in virtually into my home. And I put them through my program. I called it Keto Alkaline at the time, and it became Keto Green, and then it became it was Magic Menopause program. So these 8 women that were my friends and in my community, and often many of them were my patients, they were my test subjects. And as I learned things that were on me, and I triage, help them discover what was a roadblock or a stumbling block, and we conquered it. That became the hormone fix. The tips and tricks in here came the hormone fix. And Nancy, I was just in Gainesville, Florida, lecturing at a dear friend of mine, Dr. Angeli Akes, because she's been doing Keto Green 16 group medical visits. So she's been the test center for Keto Green 16. And she goes, you got to talk to Mr. Mike. He has been raving about your book at age, and I was able to meet him and speak with him. And at age 42, he had a heart attack, and he's a zoologist. He's now 72. But as soon as the hormone fix came out, because he had heard me speak before, he bought it, and he has it all, all his pages are tagged, highlighted. He's given it out to every one of his family members, his son, his daughter-in-law. I mean, he's like, I just feel so honored, because he has this great science background, and really the work that our veterinarians do in our animal kingdom, I imagine their subjects don't talk back, right? So, so it's pretty fascinating. And of course, I hear so many great testimonials on that. And then we had one of the subjects who have been as part of the Keto Green 16 medical visit. I love her story too, Nancy, because oftentimes we feel the older we get, the less we're going to be able to do. But what if it was different, right? What if we feel and are able to do even more, and we're not chained down?
I love that.
What if
what if?
Yeah.
What if we could just change that whole way of thinking? I agree with you. Oh, yes. That's so powerful. That's a powerful statement.
Yeah. And it feels right, because here she is, she's 67 years old, and she had retired from media law. So fascinating. And she had diagnosis of breast cancer 5 years earlier. So she had been in pain, aching, back pain, nerve pain, just name it, aches and pains everywhere. And really, she was really struggling. And so she started with Keto Green 16 plan, and she went through 2 rounds of it. So 2 cycles of it, had lost 16 pounds. But the key thing was she just had so much energy. They'd had a planned trip to Australia, her and her husband and her children, and she sent pictures. She goes, I did more there than I could have done 10 years ago. I was part of everything. I didn't have to, I kept up with everyone. I didn't have to have naps. I mean, they had a hard time keeping up with me. And so when she said that, and she sent pictures of her in scuba gear. Beautiful, right?
Oh, I love it. I love that. That's the kind of life I want.
Yes.
I mean, I remember when I first read, so yes, you have 2 books, both of them are amazing. So we had you on our podcast to talk about your first book, The Hormone Fix, which is groundbreaking and a bestseller. All right, so let me just put that out there. So I remember when I first talked to you, though, and I'm just going to admit this, I don't care. I said it on my podcast, but I'll say it on yours. I didn't even know what a hormone was. Not really. I was vaguely aware that there were these things called hormones, and I was probably going to have less of them soon. But I never really understood what that meant or what my hormone balance should be. And so that book, The Hormone Fix, was literally fascinating to me. I was a page turner. I was like, what? Every page had so much information that I needed, but in a way that I could understand. You know what I mean? Not so scientific that it felt overwhelming, but it's so conversational and great stories. I love that. I love that book. It's a must-have, you guys. I'm just going to say, I will plug your book on your very own podcast. It's great.
Thank you for doing that. Thank you. I'm really grateful to hear you say that too. And for me, it's my magnus opus. I really put my heart, soul, and stories into this book and both books, but definitely the Hormone Fix. I never thought, I couldn't even imagine, how many years ago now? 5-6 years ago, when I was in all that brain fog and my second menopause, that I'd be able to put another word down on paper.
No. And now here you are, the author of 2 amazing books. And Keto Green 16, I'm just going to say this because I'm now Dr. Anna's brand strategist, so you guys have to just let me say this. You can go to her website, drAnnaCabeca.com, and pre-order it. Yes, it's not released till May, that's true. but get your pre-order in now.
Yes. Yeah. And actually even shorter, dranna.com. You can just get it right there at dranna.com. And
Oh,
the book bonuses.
dranna.com.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Dranna, Dranna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that fun?
Okay.
So we have a short
Yeah,
one.
that's fun.
And
Okay.
that the book bonuses. So we have feast recipes because, we like to feast. That's all part of it. There's some
Yes,
feast
we
recipes
do.
in there. And we have a quick start roadmap. And that's really nice because in a beautiful visual too, this is something you can put on your fridge. You can just see foods I'm allowed and definitely the ones to get out of get out
So
of the
good.
house.
I can never remember those lists too. That's great that you
Yeah.
can just put it on your refrigerator, because I can never remember what the ones are. I know that they're there, but I just can never remember when I'm grocery shopping, like what I should be buying. I mean, those are the kind of practical tips that you need, really. And I love that it's like 16 basic ingredient types that you can find anywhere. So you
Yes.
don't have to go to fancy schmancy stores, that maybe are super expensive or, quite a ways away from your house. I mean, you can buy these 16 ingredients anywhere.
Yeah, and it makes it easy too for us shopping and cooking, and then also that creative part, being able to use these ingredients in different recipes. I mean, for me, that's how I cook. So that's a
Yeah.
glimpse in my kitchen right there.
Well, I'm
So
so glad. I'm so glad for you and your community and your girlfriend doctor.
well,
Girlfriend doctor extraordinaire.
oh man, brand strategist extraordinaire. I mean, really, it's been a big help. I do love being called the girlfriend doctor. And I
Do
was
you?
on tour. Yeah. And what happened, I was on tour in Portland and I had spoken at a conference, the Nutritional Therapy Association's conference. And after my talks, I gave my, talked about different issues from PMS, menopause, vaginal dryness issues, and more. And after that conversation, because I had it as a conversation with the audience, the girlfriend doctor way, right? And what happened
Yes.
was we had two women come up to me in the coffee shop afterwards, and they said, Dr. Anna, after your talk yesterday, we went back because we've been roommates for this conference like every year for the last, several years. And she said, we never had this conversation about, man, does it hurt when you have sex? And that just opened it up for us to realize we're not alone. We've both been having this trouble, and you've provided a solution, with your favorite product. There you go, Julva.
There it is.
There it is,
Yep.
Julva.
Yeah.
Yep.
Gotta have it.
And so how
God.
that made a difference. And then another woman came up, and she came up to my daughter, Brittany, who was with me, who's in her 30s also. And this was a young woman in her 30s. And she goes, after your mom's talk, I called my mom and I asked her about her period and her menopause. And we talked even about sex, and we never even talked about periods and pads in our entire life.
Wow.
And so that's so important. I put that out here because our listeners to have the conversations with our kids too. There's this almost like we feel like it's a generational gap, but we're struggling, they're struggling often, or maybe we found the solution and don't realize they're having the problem. So we have to have a conversation.
First of all, conversation is everything. Dialogue, connection, conversation, it's the basis of all solutions and all happiness. I'm convinced of it. So the fact that you're putting something out into the world that is promoting conversations among family members or among friendship groups, and, pulling back the veil of, don't be ashamed to talk about your body. Don't be ashamed to talk about your sex life. Don't be ashamed to ask questions or say that you're having problems in this or any area of your life, right? Connect with others and ask for help. I mean, is just the most, healthy and beautiful, I think, sentiment to put out into the world. And I love that you're doing that with your community. I think that's really important. And I love that they're excited about it right out of the gate. I mean, you did that speaking tour in February, you said, as the girlfriend doctor. That was like our first segue out into the world as the girlfriend doctor, a new brand. And you said the reception was like that everywhere you went. You just loved it.
Yep.
I love that for you.
I have. Now, Nancy, tell me, you've always said you're a big fan, and you guys are such a big fan of my products. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Tell our audience why you love the keto green shake. Because I know because it's plant-based. That's why you love this.
Yeah.
Keto green.
Well, so I'll start there. So I'm going to say what I love about the keto green shake, but I use two of your products in one. So I make my smoothie every morning, and I love that keto green meal because it's a meal replacement. So that means it fills me up. And sometimes I'll just have like a piece of fruit or a light salad for lunch because I've had that shake in the morning and I don't have to eat again till dinner. It's delicious, number one. It's like if I put it in my Vitamix with my homemade coconut milk or my homemade almond milk, and it gets all frothy. And I also add your Mighty Maca Plus. Oh, I put a nice big scoop of that in there, and that's that super green food. And it makes me feel, here's what I love about it. Yes, that. I would never be without those two products in my pantry, and I mean it. And here's what I love about it. It makes me feel like I'm drinking a big, huge glass of health. It makes me feel like I'm starting the day in the right way, which for me is really important. Because I need to get momentum in the right direction every day. So when I wake up, I try to meditate. I try to set my intention. I try to get that energy and that vibration high. Because for me personally, the direction that I start off on is pretty much the direction I'm going to go in for the rest of the day. I kind of move in that direction. If I wake up on the wrong side of the bed, so to speak, I'll be grouchy all day. So the shake that I make with your two products, with the Keto Green and the Mighty Maca, sets me up perfectly for the whole day. And that is the truth. And Sherry and I both love it. We talk about it all the time.
I am so glad, and now I'm in the middle of book launch, right? Launching
Yes.
Keto Green 16. So it's been great, but it's also been really busy. So for me, it's I break fast with Keto Green shake, and I'll have another one sometimes, right, in between my day, like around 2:00. And that's when I have a little break, and I can just keep at it. And it just gives me that energy, and it easy to digest, and I'm continuing on without pause. So the simplicity too makes a difference. And then knowing that it's
for sure
a good meal replacement for the amount of nutrients and minerals and vitamins that we certainly need extra of during, higher stress times too.
Yeah. And you know what, honestly, and I say this really authentically, the fact that you make it gives me 100% confidence in it. Because you're the girlfriend doctor, like, because you're a doctor, like you are a medical professional. You have focused your entire life on female health and well-being. I believe you when you say that those products are good for me, and I know because I feel the results. So it's like the fact that it comes from you removes any doubt for me.
Thank you.
That's the truth.
Thank you.
From my heart.
Well, I created him, I honestly, selfishly for me, because there was nothing that was available that, that worked or met my standards. So, but I am going to take a chug of water. I was telling you earlier, I'm drinking out of an Epsilon bottle for anyone who can see me. It is just a fun bottle, but it's just water. I am not drinking straight tequila during our girlfriend talk.
Oh my God, that is so funny. What if you had been? Oh my gosh, that'd be funny. That'd be like, she's so much about health and wellness. Oh my God, anything you say, I trust. Oh my gosh, if it's your product, I know it's right. Okay, chug.
I know, right? Have a shot of tequila. Oh my gosh, that's hysterical.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. That is so funny. Well, I love it too.
Thank you. Thanks for helping me roll out my brand, The Girlfriend Doctor. Thank you for that, and for sharing it.
I'm so happy. Can I just ask you to tell one story?
Sure.
One really quick one. Okay. So a couple of days ago, you and I were video chatting as we do. It was early in the morning. I looked like I just rolled out of bed. You looked adorable in rollers, but you had makeup on. You looked super cute. And we were just chatting away. And you said something like, I gave up Botox years ago. And I said, okay, lean to the camera and say those words to me again, because your skin looks like porcelain silk. Like, how is that true? And then you told me about two of your products and folks, you're going to hear it here first, okay? Because it's not on the packaging, this use of it, but you got to tell everybody what you put on your face. Tell them.
Okay. So okay. Yeah, no. So you made me lean in. I'm like, oh my gosh. So one of the big things is I always talk about when I created my products, I want them to have cosmetic benefits too. Julva, we know, has cosmetic benefits for the vulva, right? Clitoris to anus, prime real estate. We need to use it there. But also for the lips. I had started getting these lip lines when I was using my Christian Dior red, which is my favorite red to this day. And I was getting like those lip bleeds. And I was like, whoa, I can't have this. And so I started using Julva on my lips. Wow, it made a huge difference. And so I use Julva on my lips and then also on my neck. And that helps with tightening the skin and, all that good muscle, and do your face exercises. I would do those too. And then my PPR cream, my Pure Balance PPR, I added, it's progesterone, pregnenolone, which are mother hormones. They have great benefits from so many levels, but also I added tripeptide and some essential oils, but it has tripeptide 29, which also helps with decreasing fine lines and wrinkles. It helps with age spots, removing, and I was I was looking at my hands, look at the back of my hands, there's no age spots. And so after I put it on my forehead, my face, again, the neck, I use Jolva in the morning, PPR at night, I would rub it on my hands. And so one of my employee, she goes like, that's getting rid of all my age spots. And I mean, seriously, I said, I have to go, I stop at my elbow, and now I got to go up my, and I use it on my chest too. Mm-hmm.
You need to get like industrial size vats of that stuff that I can buy. So I can just like dip my body in it.
Yeah, a little bit. Seriously, a little bit goes a long way, and you rotate.
Yeah, that's true.
Sides, so you can, just a little bit goes a long way, and then rotate sides. So, yeah, because you want to put the dark cream on thin skin.
I think that's amazing information.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. You guys heard it here first. So
for our listeners, I was like, Nancy, I don't want to share that because I don't want people to know really how vain I am.
And I'm like, lean into it, Anna.
Lean in. It's honest, but I do show up in curler sometimes.
I know. That was so cute. This has been such a fun chat. I love your podcast.
Thank you. Nancy, tell people how they can get a hold of you, because I love the work you've done for me, and I know you're helping so many other women, and it's really making a difference. It's making a difference.
Well, thank you.
Again, expanding. For me, I want everyone to hear the message that they're in charge of their own health, and that there is many aspects to health, right? There are just these many aspects to health, and we have to start having that conversation and not be afraid to ask.
That's right. Well, so people can get a hold of me at nancyhala.com. So NancyHala.com. That's my BrandStory site. And yes, I help women, female entrepreneurs, small business owners, people who are starting startups. My clients are life coaches, they're travel consultants, they're doctors, they're real estate powerhouses, all different kinds of industries. And I'm helping these women tell their brand story and hopefully build their dreams. And it's honestly, in my professional life, I mean, I've been a brand strategist and a writer for, decades. And never have I been so gratified by the work I've done with these clients. I mean, they are just delightful. The conversations are extremely exciting, and everyone feels so happy to create their brand and get their message, clarify your voice and get your message out into the world. I love it. So thank you. I'm glad to be working with you too. I mean, I just love you to pieces anyway, but I really believe in your brand.
Thank you. Thank you. I know you do. And I feel that. And I have loved working with you. I didn't even imagine how good it is. And you give like 10,000%, right? You give 10,000%. Like I said, oh my gosh, like you're doing what for me? I can't believe it. You're helping me. And it's just been that over and over again, the high level of quality. And also I know you care too. I know you care too.
Thank you.
And
that means the world.
That makes a difference. Well, thank you for being on today's podcast. And I want to share with everyone that to celebrate my new brand, The Girlfriend Doctor, I am offering all of you in my beloved community a 15% discount on all my products and programs. So just go to my website. I know, it's exciting.
I'm very excited.
So yeah, come to dranna.com. So DRANNA.com, and use the code girlfriend15, all caps, girlfriend15, and you'll receive 15% off your entire order at dranna.com. And we've got all these great products in there, including my vitamin DK, which every one of you needs right now during this coronavirus season of our life that hopefully will be very short-lived, but boosting our immune system will help us get there. So you want the vitamin D, you want to stock up on Mighty Maca. The single packs, we've got those so that wherever you go, you've got them to go with you, and a Keto Green Shake, and pre-order my new book, Keto Green 16. I have spent the last several years working with my female clients on my very own, and this is completely modified and improved approach to traditional keto. Let me tell you, as we talked about earlier, Keto traditionally, right? We say keto dirty can be very harmful to women over 40, and I don't want you to suffer. We're going to get alkaline, we're going to get keto green, and it's more than about what we eat. And it has everything to do with how we balance our female hormones, how we boost our immune system, how we fight inflammation, and then have energy and clarity and focus. And you really will begin to see results in 16 days, tremendous results. So pre-order now. Let me tell you all, I am happy. I am so happy to be here for you and to be your girlfriend. Bye till next time.